Stuff like this is kind of what I don't like about Clone Wars. The idea to see Tarkin before, A New Hope is actually a very interesting idea. We've seen bits and pieces of him in the EU in several books, and I like before the Tarkin book, obviously, because that's AU, and I always liked the idea to see, just to reveal more of a character, to get more of an insight into who they are or what they were, or whatever. And we don't really get that. Instead, what we get is, "Hi, I'm Tarkin. You may remember me as Tarkin. Someday I'm going to be Tarkin." That's how he was presented the whole episode. Like, I've gained the ear of the Chancellor himself, and I admire you, Skywalker, and no one else but you, Skywalker. And also, we need to be willing to do what is necessary to have the military perspective, but by which he means, the evil perspective, and blah, 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 blah. It's actually a bit of a shame, because he does have a legitimate point, and so does Obi-Wan. But they don't discuss that, at all. It's just there, right? Now, I feel like I missed something. Where do these coordinates come from? All of a sudden they find the super mega information that will allow them to have secret hyperspace lane jump points, which for some reason isn't a matter of not common knowledge or even secret knowledge at this point, given the fact that the galaxy is very, very old and hyperspace lanes have been around for frickin' forever. But no, apparently there's just this. They've just found these new coordinates and allow them to have this new super way to get to just bypass all the things. It's a MacGuffin. It's just a straight up MacGuffin. The only thing I thought was clever about the whole hyperspace coordinates thing, hyperspace lanes information, was that they split it up between the Jedi and the government. That's actually kind of a neat idea, and one that they don't pursue at all. But I love the concept of being able to split that kind of power between multiple organizations within a larger organization as a way of balancing itself. That's just a cool idea, and I like that. Here's another question for you. These coordinates are super important, right? They talk about them 4 times in this episode before. They emphasize them 4 times in this episode. It's just over and over. Oh my god, we've got to get the intel. We've got to get the intel. We've got to get to the intel. Everyone on both sides says that. So, explain to me why Dooku didn't come here personally. Don't tell me he's too far away. Clone Wars has been extremely light and loose with how long it takes to get from point A to point B. There was an episode where Anakin and Mace Windu were stuck in wreckage in a falling apart ship, and R2-D2 had time to get into his ship, hyperjump to Coruscant, get help, and then hyper back to save them. Right? I mean, granted they're probably closer, but I've noticed that the Clone Wars show really plays it loosey-goosey with distance and time spent traveling. Anyways, small complaint. So, point being, I would think Dooku, rather than, "I'm going to threaten you," would actually have a brain and show up himself. I don't know. I was actually legitimately sad when the battle droids died. Is that just me? Real question. I really would like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Because the good battle droids, the blue battle droids, were like, come on, we'll stop them for you. It's been an honor serving under you, Commander. All right, one for all and all for... And then they die. They just get crushed like bugs. That was actually probably the only emotionally impacting moment in this whole trilogy for me. Yeah, the Jedi dying? Okay, whatever. Those droids? No! Hell, I even felt more like a few seconds later when the clones plummeted to their death. Anyways, they mentioned several times. I've kind of already complained about the Tarkin thing, but they mentioned several times how Tarkin is, he's got the ear of the Chancellor. He's a good captain. He knows his military stuff, and yet they never showcase that at all. They just keep telling us he's good without actually showing us any of these capacities. It's pretty much the exact opposite of show don't tell, and it just kept aggravating me. There's this line where the 2 Jedi are showing up. Plo Koon shows up to save them all. Because of course he does. He's just awesome. Seriously, he's like one of the most awesome Jedi in the Clone Wars. Anyways, so Plo Koon shows up to save them all, and he's talking with other Jedi. I don't remember his name. And they talk about, we haven't had a battle like this since the Old Republic. What? I kind of get what he was saying, and I kind of get what he means, but that just feels like a very strange line to toss in there from an out-of-character perspective. From a writer's perspective. Why would you toss that line in? That's just, that kind of tripped me up and made me think, okay, obviously you've been fighting for a while, but, like, how are we defining the Old Republic at this point? The way we traditionally did was the Old Republic was the Republic that is currently active, the one that lasted until the foundation of the Galactic Empire. Also, is it me, or is there, like, a new director on display? Because I really feel like they're... How do I phrase this? They're using the camera better, and doing a lot more interesting visuals. And I just wanted to comment on that because I think it's good stuff. So it's a shame Tarkin didn't die. There's the scene where random villain dude, who, again, I don't care about his name. He's voiced by James Arnold Taylor, that's all I know. He's like, I'm gonna kill you! And then he dies. It's a shame Ahsoka saved Tarkin there. No, legitimately. Obviously, the EU and the AU branch out significantly, and already have, really, as of the point of this show. And this show was basically built to structure into the AU more than it was the EU. But I bring this up because I find myself wondering how different Star Wars would be if Tarkin died here during the Clone Wars. Now, in the EU, Tarkin and the Tarkin Doctrine are one of the biggest contributing factors to the Galactic Empire being evil. I mean, yes, there was obviously evil and the dark side and Palpatine and Rot, but Tarkin he kicked it into overdrive in the EU. He was the one who really made the Galactic Empire a horrible, terrible monstrosity that needed to be brought down. And it's a shame that we didn't hear all that often about the rest of the Empire that was actually doing good in the rest of the galaxy. Because for some reason the writers never wanted to really cover that, but I'm getting off topic, and this has already gone way too long. My point being, if Tarkin was ejected from the equation, I really wonder how the Galactic Empire would have gone. I mean, I'm sure there would be other people like him. I mean, Krennic, right, is a person, although Krennic's designed for the AU, not the EU. But my point being, I really wonder how much better, like legitimately better, the Galactic Empire would have been with the absence of Tarkin, someone with such overwhelming influence and power and skill, and being, in my opinion, the most evil person in the entire setting. Never mind the impact that would have on the AU. But anyways, so that's all I got. I've talked way too long. These are dragging on a bit. I apologize. I need to go rewatch an episode right now, so I'm going to go do that. I'll see you around next time.